From the Opoko Studios in Oklahoma City, this is an OSU Update. I'm Jenny Carlson. John Helsley joins us on the phone from the road, coming back from Waco, Texas. And John, you're in a place, being on the road, that has not been kind to the Oklahoma State men's basketball team. Another road loss at Baylor on Monday. Not just a long track record of not being able to win on the road. You've seen a lot of these losses, John. Are there any common threads between what's happening in any of these road losses?
You know, the recent road woes here, Jenny, 3 losses this year, Kansas State, Oklahoma, and now at Baylor, all have a similar trend in that they just can't seem to put it all together on the road. It's like one guy shows up, 2 guys don't, 2 guys show up, they need a third scorer. They got 5 guys on the floor, and they're really only getting production on the offensive end, especially out of 1 or 2 guys.
So what do they do to change that? Is it just a matter of time? Or I have to think at some point they start pressing a little bit too.
Yeah, and, let's keep in mind, too, is, they've started off at some places where it's hard to win. Kansas State, Baylor, those are places outside of Kansas you'd expect to see very few teams go in there and win. Oklahoma, maybe a winnable game there, but it's a bedlam game. It's going to be a pretty good crowd that day, and it was. But you're right, they have to turn this around if they want to continue to talk about themselves as a contender. There's some places they're going to win on the road, you would think, later on. But the longer this carries on, the more maybe it gets in their heads a little bit. Their next road game's not going to be any easier at Kansas February 2nd.
Definitely so. But before then, they get to go home and possibly get well over the weekend, John, against West Virginia. Is this the type of game where they could really get well and maybe propel themselves into that Kansas game?
Yeah, in fact, they've got 2 home games coming up. Saturday against West Virginia, a team that's near the bottom of the league. Team that's really struggled in its transition to the Big 12. You should win that game. And then a game that's going to be a very big game for OSU will be Iowa State next Wednesday. It's a team that shoots a lot of threes. It can get hot and get people scared. They did that to Kansas a couple weeks ago. So Oklahoma State now 2 home games coming up. Need to win them both.
All right. Thanks, John. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.